Hi guys, welcome back to another GJ video review. Today I'll be doing something a bit different and I'll be doing some benchmarking tests between AMD and Intel CPUs. I've got a 6800K AMD CPU and an Intel 3570K, so I'll be running through a few benchmarks, probably Battlefield 3, Crysis 3, the new game Payday 2, some sort of graphic intensive games and some ones that are slightly less intensive. So I've seen a lot on the forums lately and on the net that people sort of ditching all the AMD systems to move over to Intel. So it got me thinking, is this really necessary just for gaming? So I got two exact systems here, one there, one there. Everything's the same, GPU's the same, SSDs are the same. The only difference is the motherboard and the CPU, of course. So we'll just jump in now and we'll have a look at the two systems and then we'll get on to some benchmarks. Okay, so I've got the AMD system here now. So it's just a Gigabyte GA F2A 75M D3H motherboard. Pretty basic board, but for a single card system, it'll be fine. RAM is Corsair Vengeance. It's a 8 gig kit, 2 4s, and that's running at 1600 megahertz. H80i cooler. Probably the other most important thing is the GPU is a Gigabyte HD 7970 OC edition. CPU, like I said before, is an AMD A10 6800K. Now this CPU isn't really designed for gaming, or not really high-end gaming. It's more or less the AMD Vision system for the onboard GPU as well, but we're not using that. We're using it with a dedicated GPU. SSD is an Intel 520, I believe, 60 gig SATA 3, and then the Corsair PSU down below, AX1200i. So that's it for the AMD system. Kind of alright specs there. We should be able to get some decent frames in the games that we test. I'll just move over to the Intel system. Alright, so the Intel system, very similar, same case, same H80i cooler, same RAM, 1600 megahertz Corsair Vengeance. The CPU is the, like I said before, Intel 3570K, it's running at stock. GPU is exactly the same, the Gigabyte HD 7970 OC edition. I've got two of these the same, so one in each system. And the motherboard is the G1 Sniper M3 from Gigabyte. This is a more sort of aimed at gaming board for a small system like this. Same Intel SSD up in the sort of front middle, you can't really see it. This system does have a mechanical drive, but it's not actually being used for anything. And then we got the same Corsair AX1200i PSU as well. So that's pretty much it on the two systems. What I'll do now is we'll just fire up some games and we'll see how they go. Alright, so I've got Crysis 2 running now. We'll just have a look at the options and see what graphics settings they are. So you got 1920 by 1080. I decided to run 1080 because that's pretty much the most common res. These screens can do high, but I thought I'll stick it to 1080. 4 by there, I didn't want to go too high. Same with the system spec. I didn't want to sort of bring it to its knees and run the benchmark at 10 frames or something. So I wanted it to sort of run alright and advanced graphics. Everything is high and an 8 by there. So we go back, I've already started a game just so we can not have to go through the epic long intro movie. Alright, now I've never played this before, or not single player, so I'll probably do about 1 minute to 2 minutes of this and just to see how we go. So you can see the frames up in the corner there. Right, so running at 26-30 frames. So yeah, we're hitting about 31 frames on that. 37, 38. I have no idea what I meant to do. I don't have sound on, so it's not too easy to understand. So yeah, it's running about 45 frames, 46 now, so that's still quite playable. I just wouldn't mind trying an action scene to see what we can get it down to. Alright, obviously that's my guy. Alright. So yeah, 50 frames, 49. There's got to be some people up here. 50 frames. Come on, open the door. So inside here, 50 frames, 60 frames. There's probably going to be people in here. No, maybe not. Alright, I'll pick up that weapon. So apparently he was a bad guy, which I had no idea. Alright, finally some people shooting. So we're still 44, 30, so it's going anywhere between 25 to 30 frames, and then 30 and upwards to 40. Right, so I might leave it at that, and then we'll move over to the Intel system. So there's an explosion there. It seemed to run alright, 35 frames. So, alright, we'll switch it over. Alright, so I've got the Intel system here. We'll just go to options and make sure they're exactly the same. 4x, very high for that, no, and high was that, and for the advanced was all high, yes, and 8. Alright, so that's the same. Alright, let's resume. Alright, so at least I now know what to do, so it should be a little bit better. So you got the frames up on this corner this time over there. There's a 34, 35 frames there. So yeah, 35, 34. So I'll just walk around here a bit like I did last time. Run around here. So yeah, 40, 50, 50, 47, 38. Right, so I'll run back down here. So at 40 frames. So it feels very much the same. I guess from what I'm thinking, it's maybe not dropping down as low as on the AMD, but it seems to be very similar so far. But mind you, this Intel, I haven't looked at the prices, but I do believe this Intel chip is going to be a minimum of $100 more than this AMD chip as well. This guy walks so slow. So you're still getting 50 frames. We'll see what we get inside. Alright, so that's what I want. So yeah, 57, 58. So it seems a little bit higher inside, I think. Well, it's 30 now, so 60. I think that's the first time I've seen 60. Just shoot this guy. Can't be bothered doing what I did before. How much does it take to kill him? It's around 30, so it does seem very, very similar around the fights now, even maybe just a little bit less. Not quite sure if it was around this on the AMD, but can't even see that guy. Guess I might be able to throw this. There was someone there, that didn't really work. Oh, we got 60 now, 66, 65, so that's certainly higher. So I ended it around here, so I guess, yeah, I am sort of testing a sort of high-end Intel CPU with sort of a mid-range AMD that's not really designed for gaming, but I was pretty impressed at how it sort of kept up with the frames compared to this Intel CPU. Right, we'll leave it at that. We'll try another game and probably Metro Last Light and see how we go. Alright, so I got the Metro Last Light benchmark up now. This should make it a bit easier because it's got the built-in benchmark program. So I'll just flash a screenshot up so you can see what I've got the settings set at. Pretty much everything's at high, 1920 by 1080. So I've got these both selected to run. We'll just start both of these now. Alright, so there you have it. As you can see, pretty much out of the 4 games, the clear winner for Intel was Metro Last Light. Being a game like that, it's probably been designed to take advantage of Intel chips. Everyone knows that that is a pretty intensive game. Even Battlefield 3, it may have slightly just edged ahead, but it wasn't too far in front. And then pretty much the other 2 games were pretty much exactly the same. So I put the costs of each of the systems up there. I didn't go into the whole cost of everything because everything else was the same. Just pretty much differences of the motherboard and CPU for each one. So that actually was quite a bit. So if you're looking at cost in a system just for gaming, an Intel system will cost a bit more. So that the extra cost could go towards something like SSDs or something if you were to go with AMD. Also to know with the AMD, I only had a APU processor, so that has the onboard or the built-in GPU, which I didn't really use. So you probably could get a cheaper AMD CPU just designed for gaming. You don't have to get on with the built-in GPU and all that. So, but yeah, that's it. I hope that helps you decide whether you need Intel or AMD for gaming. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.